In the heart of an ancient city trapped in eternal twilight stood the grand obsidian tower of the master clockmaker. While ordinary citizens measured their lives by the rising and falling of a pale sun, the wealthy elite measured theirs by the ticking of the clockmaker's golden gears. He was a man of terrifying brilliance and unmatched greed. For a mountain of silver and rare silk, he could forge a miniature golden key. When inserted into a special brass lock worn over a person's heart, that key could freeze time for exactly 24 hours. For the rich, gray hairs disappeared, wrinkles faded, and death was a distant rumor that could always be bought off. The clockmaker grew richer than the kings of old, his vaults overflowing with treasures from across the seas. Yet, his soul remained entirely hollow. He realized that to forge more golden keys, he needed raw time, a resource that was finite and rapidly dwindling in the city. Driven by insatiable avarice, he constructed a massive, dark machine hidden beneath the city streets, connected to the copper pipes of the poor quarters. Slowly, silently, the machine began to siphon away tiny fragments of time from the unsuspecting lower class. A mother would blink, and an entire sunset was lost. A laborer would pause to breathe, and 3 heartbeats were stolen from his life. The poor grew old and frail before their time, their life forces stolen to feed the vanity of the wealthy. As the years rolled on, the clockmaker became deeply arrogant, walking through his tower like a god who had completely mastered the laws of the universe. He hoarded the stolen centuries in delicate glowing glass jars that lined his dark stone laboratory. He believed he was entirely untouchable, a master puppeteer pulling the strings of mortality itself. One cold night, feeling the heavy ache of old age finally creeping into his own bones, he decided it was time to claim his ultimate reward. He sculpted a massive, flawless golden key, purer and more intricate than any he had ever made before. He intended to turn the lock on his own chest and grant himself eternal youth. With trembling, greedy hands, the clockmaker pushed the heavy key into the lock above his heart and turned it. But instead of a smooth, perfect click, a deafening screech of grinding metal echoed through the empty tower. The massive time-stealing machine beneath the floorboards violently surged to life, its iron gears spinning out of control. Smoke and blue sparks erupted from the wall-sized clocks surrounding him. The lock in his chest jammed completely. He realized with sudden, absolute horror that the mechanism didn't recognize him as its master. It recognized him merely as a reservoir of time, because he had handled and stolen so much stolen time. His own life force had become permanently intertwined with the volatile machinery, instead of freezing time. The jammed mechanism began to extract it from him at a terrifying velocity. The world around him turned into a dizzying, supersonic blur of motion. Day and night flashed outside his window like a flickering strobe light. He watched his hands wither into wrinkled skin, his long hair turning instantly white and falling to the floor in clumps. The stolen centuries he had carefully hoarded in the glowing glass jars shattered one by one, exploding into brilliant dust as the machine violently reclaimed every single second he had ever stolen from the poor. He tried to scream, but the passage of time was moving too fast for sound to escape his throat, when the massive clockwork machine finally groaned to a silent, smoking halt. The master clockmaker was entirely gone. Where he once stood, there was only a scattered pile of rusted, worthless iron gears and a handful of gray ash. The moral of the story is that time is the one sacred currency that can be spent, but never truly owned or replaced. When you try to build your empire by stealing the life and time of others, the gears of fate will eventually grind you into dust. Do not trade your humanity for gold, for tomorrow is a luxury that no amount of wealth can ever buy back.